A warlord is coming, and the fate of the kingdom rests on the strength of an ancient protector. Will the royal family survive the battle, or will they fall to dark magic? Watch to see how the Black Jaguar's spirit holds the key to their salvation. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of this epic tale. The kingdom of Kundi was a land blessed by the mighty Black Jaguar, an ancient spirit that had protected its people and royal family for generations. The jungle surrounding the kingdom thrived, its creatures sacred and respected, and its power drew strength from the Black Jaguar's guardianship. The royal family, particularly King Asante, had ruled wisely, their hearts aligned with the rhythm of the land. But peace was a fragile thing, and it was about to be shattered. Malasi, a warlord whose name struck terror in every neighboring kingdom, had set his eyes on Kundi. A sorcerer of immense power, he wielded dark magic that could bend the very elements to his will. His shadow army had swept through the lands, and now he was headed toward Kundi to seize the Black Jaguar's spirit for himself. When the royal council received word of his march, they knew the kingdom could not defend itself without the Black Jaguar's power. King Asante summoned his son, Prince Kwame, into the royal chamber, his face grave. "Malasi's dark forces are already near," King Asante said. "We must protect the spirit of the Black Jaguar. Kwame, you must venture into the heart of the jungle and retrieve the sacred totem. Only then will the spirit's power be fully restored, and only then can you defend our people." Kwame nodded, determination settling in his chest. "I will not fail you, father. The Black Jaguar's spirit will not be taken." Kwame's journey began at dawn, his heart heavy with the responsibility placed upon him. The totem, a sacred artifact said to hold the essence of the Black Jaguar, was hidden deep within the jungle's heart, guarded by ancient trials set forth by the spirit itself. As Kwame ventured into the thick, untamed wilderness, the air seemed to pulse with magic. The jungle was alive, and the whispers of the Black Jaguar spirit beckoned him forward. He moved with purpose, knowing that time was against him. Malasi's dark army would reach the kingdom soon, and the longer he took, the more difficult it would be to protect his people. As he passed through the dense forest, he encountered strange and terrifying sights. Trees that seemed to twist unnaturally, strange, dark creatures lurking in the shadows, and cursed vines that tried to entangle his feet. Yet Kwame pressed on, guided by the Black Jaguar's spirit. With every step, he could feel the spirit's power growing stronger within him, and he knew he was drawing closer to his goal. But the jungle held more dangers than he could imagine, and Malasi's reach was far longer than he realized. After days of navigating the jungle's labyrinthine paths, Kwame finally arrived at the temple where the totem was said to rest. It was an ancient structure, covered in vines and hidden from the world's view. The temple itself was a monument to the power of the Black Jaguar, with carvings depicting the spirit's history and the many battles it had fought to protect the kingdom. But something felt wrong. The air was thick with tension, and the jungle around him seemed to grow darker as he entered the temple's threshold. It was as though Malasi's dark magic had already touched this sacred place. The totem, carved from obsidian and glowing faintly with an ethereal light, rested on a stone pedestal at the center of the temple. As Kwame stepped forward to claim it, a deep growl rumbled through the temple. Shadow creatures, formed from Malasi's magic, leapt from the darkness. Kwame drew his royal blade, preparing to fight. But the creatures were unlike any he had faced before. They were the embodiment of darkness itself, shifting and moving with unnatural speed. Kwame fought bravely, his blade striking true, but more and more shadow beasts appeared, surrounding him. Just as he thought he might be overwhelmed, a surge of energy filled the room. The Black Jaguar's spirit manifested before him, glowing with power. "I will protect you, Kwame. Together, we can overcome this," the spirit's voice boomed, resonating through the temple. With the spirit's power aiding him, Kwame was able to defeat the creatures, but Malasi's presence was still felt. The battle for Kundi was far from over. Kwame, clutching the totem, felt the weight of the world on his shoulders as he made his way back to Kundi. The jungle had grown quiet, the battle over for now, but the knowledge of what lay ahead weighed heavily on him. The black jaguar spirit had guided him through the trials, and now, with the totem in hand, he had to return and protect his kingdom. But as he emerged from the jungle's edge, the sight before him made his blood run cold. Malassi's dark forces had already reached the kingdom. The walls of Kundi, once impenetrable, were now under siege. Shadow beasts filled the streets, and Malassi's soldiers marched with unholy determination. Quaim could hear the distant roar of Malassi's dark magic in the air. "The battle is not over," Quaim muttered, gripping the totem tightly. "The black jaguar will protect Kundi, but I must lead our people to victory." The first battle for Kundi's survival had begun, and Quaim knew the only way to defeat Malassi was to unlock the full power of the black jaguar's spirit. Quaim, with the black jaguar totem in hand, returned to Kundi to find his kingdom under siege. The walls that once protected them now seemed fragile against the weight of Malassi's dark army. The kingdom's warriors were fighting valiantly, but the shadow beasts seemed endless, and Malassi's dark sorcery had taken hold. King Asante, although strong and determined, could see the weight of his son's burden. "Quaim," he said, his voice filled with both pride and concern, "you have returned, but the true battle is yet to come. The black jaguar's spirit can only protect us fully if you face the sacred trials. You must pass them before we can unleash its full power against Malassi." Quaim knew his father was right. Without the spirit's complete power, defeating Malassi would be impossible. The totem's energy pulsed in his hands, and the black jaguar spirit appeared before him. "To unlock my true power, Quaim," the spirit's voice echoed in the air, "you must face the trials of strength, wisdom, and sacrifice. Only then will you have the strength to protect your kingdom and your people." With no other choice, Quaim agreed. He knew the trials were dangerous, but his kingdom needed him, and he could not afford to fail. "I will face them," he vowed, as he set off towards the sacred ground where the trials awaited. The first trial was one of strength. Quaim arrived at a vast arena deep within the sacred jungle, a place where the ancestors of his kingdom had once proven their might. The air was thick with the energy of ages past, and before him stood an enormous beast, a lion, its body covered in scales like iron, its claws sharp as daggers. The black jaguar spirit appeared beside him. "This beast is not like others," the spirit warned. "It is a manifestation of strength itself. You must face it with more than just physical power." As the lion roared, its eyes burning with fury, Quaim took a deep breath, focusing on the lessons he had learned from the black jaguar spirit. He knew brute force alone would not win this battle. The beast charged toward him with terrifying speed, but Quaim dodged and leaped aside, using his agility and wit. He had to tire the lion, wear it down, and find its weak point. After a long and brutal fight, Quaim found his opening. With a swift and precise strike, he pierced the lion's heart. The beast fell, its body crumbling to the ground. The black jaguar spirit, glowing with pride, appeared before him. "You have proven your strength, but strength alone is not enough," the spirit said. Quaim nodded, feeling both relief and exhaustion. The first trial was over, but the real challenge was only just beginning. The second trial was one of wisdom. The black jaguar spirit guided Quaim to a deep, mystical forest, a place where the boundaries between the physical world and the spirit world were thin. As Quaim entered the forest, the trees twisted unnaturally, and the path before him disappeared into a fog. "You must find the path that leads to the heart of the forest, Quaim," the spirit instructed. "But the forest will deceive you. Only the wise can see through its tricks." As Quaim ventured deeper into the forest, the mist thickened, and the trees seemed to shift around him. He could feel the forest's energy tugging at his mind, making him second-guess every step he took. The whispers of the forest tried to confuse him, urging him to take different paths, but Quaim focused on the wisdom he had gained from the black jaguar. He listened to the subtle signs, the sound of the wind, the movement of the leaves, the alignment of the stars in the sky. Slowly, he began to see the true path, following it with unwavering resolve. After what seemed like hours, he emerged from the mist and found himself at the heart of the forest, where the black jaguar spirit awaited him. "You have proven your wisdom, Quaim," the spirit said. "But the final trial awaits." The final trial was one of sacrifice. The black jaguar spirit led Quaim to a sacred pool in a hidden glade, its waters shimmering with an otherworldly glow. "To truly unlock the power of the black jaguar," the spirit said, "you must give up something of great value. Only then will you be worthy of its full strength." Quaim's heart pounded in his chest as he knelt before the pool, contemplating what he might need to sacrifice. The kingdom, his family, the people he loved, he had already given so much. But this would be the greatest test. "What must I sacrifice?" he asked, his voice steady but filled with uncertainty. The black jaguar spirit's eyes glowed, and the waters of the pool swirled. "You must be willing to sacrifice yourself, Quaim. The power of the black jaguar is not for the weak-hearted. To protect Kundi, you must be willing to lay down everything, even your own life, if that is what is required." Quaim closed his eyes, feeling the weight of the spirit's words. "I will do whatever it takes to protect my kingdom," he said, his voice firm. The pool's waters erupted in a surge of light, and Quaim felt the full power of the black jaguar spirit surge through him. The totem in his hands glowed with an intense energy, unlocking its full potential. Quaim stood tall, now fully empowered, knowing that the trials had made him not just a protector of Kundi, but a true leader worthy of the black jaguar's power. Quaim returned to Kundi, now fully imbued with the power of the black jaguar spirit. The totem, glowing brightly in his hands, pulsed with the strength of generations of protectors. He could feel the power within him, not just as a warrior, but as a true leader, destined to defend his people. However, as he neared the kingdom, a chilling sight greeted him. Malassi's dark forces had already arrived at the kingdom's gates. The once strong walls of Kundi were being pounded by shadow beasts and dark sorcerers. The very air was filled with the sound of clashing steel and the screams of the fallen. King Azanti, though brave, knew the battle was lost unless Quaim returned with the totem. Now that he had, the war for Kundi's survival was at its climax. "Quaim," his father called as the prince entered the royal courtyard, "you have returned, but the battle has not yet ended. We need you now more than ever." Quaim looked around at his people, his warriors, his family, and the citizens who had come to defend their kingdom. With the power of the black jaguar coursing through him, he felt the weight of his responsibility. He held the totem high. "We fight today not just for Kundi, but for the future of our people. The black jaguar will protect us, and we will stand firm in the face of darkness." Quaim led the royal army to the front lines, the black jaguar's spirit radiating power beside him. His army, though smaller than Malassi's, was imbued with the same sense of resolve, fighting for their homes, their families, and their freedom. As they clashed against Malassi's forces, Quaim's blade cut through the shadow beasts with precision, and the black jaguar spirit moved like a ghost, striking down every enemy that came near. But Malassi, the warlord, stood at the head of his dark army, his eyes filled with malicious confidence. His magic darkened the sky, summoning storms of lightning and shadows that poured over the battlefield like a flood. "You cannot win, Quaim," Malassi shouted from the back of the battlefield, his voice carrying across the battlefield like thunder. "The black jaguar will fall under my power. You cannot stop what is inevitable." Quaim's heart burned with the strength of his ancestors, and he fought even harder, rallying his people. "This kingdom will not fall, Malassi. We will protect it with our lives." His voice echoed, carrying the full power of the black jaguar. With each swing of his blade, the shadow creatures around him fell. The black jaguar's spirit roared, and with that sound, Kundi's warriors fought with renewed vigor. Malasi, seeing his forces falter, decided to face Quaim himself. With a wave of his hand, the ground trembled, and the earth split open, revealing a swirling vortex of dark energy. From within the vortex, Malasi's dark magic surged, and the warlord himself emerged, larger and more menacing than before. His body was covered in dark armor, and his eyes glowed with the power of the very shadows. "This is the end, Quaim," Malasi sneered. "You are nothing compared to the power I now control." He raised his hand, and a storm of darkness engulfed the battlefield. The black jaguar spirit, sensing the warlord's immense power, materialized beside Quaim, its form glowing with the light of the ancestors. "We fight together, Quaim," the spirit's voice echoed in his mind. Quaim tightened his grip on the royal blade. "I will not fail my people. We will defeat you, Malasi." The final battle began, Quaim, with the strength of the black jaguar behind him, and Malasi, with the power of shadows at his command. The sky darkened further, and the two forces clashed in a maelstrom of light and darkness. Quaim's blade met Malasi's dark magic, clashing with such intensity that the very air shook. The battle between Quaim and Malasi raged for what felt like an eternity, their powers colliding in flashes of light and dark. Quaim felt the strength of the black jaguar within him, but Malasi's magic was relentless, each wave of darkness trying to overpower him. Yet, with each strike, Quaim grew stronger, the black jaguar's spirit guiding him. He could feel the warlord's power weakening, his magic flickering under the pressure of the spirit's might. "You cannot defeat me," Malasi roared, summoning a massive shadow beast to attack Quaim. But Quaim was ready. With a final cry, he called upon the full power of the black jaguar, his blade glowing with ancestral energy. The beast fell, and with a single strike, Quaim pierced Malasi's dark armor, breaking his dark magic. The warlord staggered back, his power fading. "No," Malasi snarled, "I am darkness incarnate." But his words trailed off as the light from the black jaguar's spirit overwhelmed him. With one final blow, Quaim struck Malasi down, and the warlord's dark magic evaporated into nothingness. The battlefield fell silent, and Quaim stood victorious. The black jaguar's spirit, now fully empowered, roared in triumph, echoing across the land. Kundi had been saved. With Malasi defeated and the kingdom of Kundi saved, the land began to heal. The black jaguar's spirit, now fully restored, radiated its power throughout the kingdom, bringing life back to the land. The shadow beasts vanished, and the skies cleared. The people of Kundi celebrated, their hearts filled with gratitude for their king and the protector spirit that had watched over them. Quaim, now crowned as the rightful ruler, stood before his people with the black jaguar totem in his hands. He could feel the spirit's strength within him, a connection that was now unbreakable. "We have faced darkness," Quaim said, his voice carrying across the gathered crowd. "But we are no longer defined by fear. We are defined by our unity, our strength, and our will to protect what is ours." The people cheered, their spirits lifted by the hope of a brighter future. Quaim turned to his father, King Asante, who had watched the battle unfold with pride. "The kingdom is safe, father," Quaim said, his voice filled with both triumph and humility. "We owe everything to the black jaguar and our ancestors." Asante smiled, a tear in his eye. "You have made us proud, my son. You have proven yourself worthy of the black jaguar's spirit." With the people behind him and the spirit at his side, Quaim knew the future of Kundi was secure. In the days following the battle, the royal family worked tirelessly to rebuild the kingdom. The war had left its scars, but the people were resilient, and the land was beginning to flourish once more. Quaim often visited the sacred altar where the black jaguar's spirit had first granted him its power. It was here, in the heart of the jungle, that the bond between the royal family and the black jaguar was strongest. As Quaim knelt before the altar, the spirit appeared beside him, its massive form glowing with the light of the ancestors. "Your kingdom thrives, Quaim," the spirit said, its voice calm yet filled with power. "But remember, the strength of your kingdom lies not just in the power of the totem, but in the hearts of its people. You must lead with wisdom, courage, and love." Quaim nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility placed upon him. "I will protect Kundi, and I will protect its people," he vowed. The black jaguar's spirit glowed brighter in response. "You are the protector now, Quaim. Your journey has only just begun. The kingdom will need you in ways you cannot yet imagine." With that, the spirit faded, leaving Quaim standing alone in the sacred clearing. But he did not feel alone. He felt a deep connection to the land, the people, and the black jaguar itself. As time passed, the kingdom of Kundi flourished under Quaim's rule. The black jaguar's spirit continued to watch over the land, ensuring peace and prosperity. The royal family was united, and the people felt secure knowing that their protector, the black jaguar, was always with them. But Quaim never forgot the lessons he had learned throughout his trials. Strength was important, but it was wisdom, courage, and sacrifice that truly defined a leader. One day, as Quaim stood at the edge of the kingdom, gazing out at the vast jungle that surrounded them, Princess Amara joined him. "The kingdom is thriving, brother," she said, her voice filled with admiration. "You've done it. You've protected us." Quaim turned to her, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "We've done it, Amara. This is not just my victory, but the victory of everyone who stood with us." Amara nodded, her eyes reflecting the hope that now filled their kingdom. "The black jaguar spirit has guided us, but it is our hearts that will keep us strong." Quaim placed a hand on her shoulder. "Together, we will ensure that Kundi remains a place of peace, where the spirit of the black jaguar will protect us for generations to come." Years passed, and Quaim's reign was marked by peace and prosperity. The kingdom of Kundi, once threatened by darkness, now stood as a beacon of hope and strength. The black jaguar's spirit remained a constant protector, its power never wavering. Quaim often thought of his journey, the trials, the sacrifices, and the battles fought. He knew that as long as the spirit of the black jaguar remained with Kundi, the kingdom would never fall. One evening, as Quaim stood in the royal garden, gazing out at the horizon, he felt the presence of the black jaguar spirit beside him once more. "You have done well, Quaim," the spirit's voice echoed in his mind. "Your kingdom is safe. Your people are strong. But remember, the true strength of a ruler lies not in their power, but in their heart." Quaim closed his eyes, feeling the weight of those words. "I will never forget, Black Jaguar. My heart is always with my people." The spirit roared in approval, its energy surging through him. "You are ready for the future, Quaim, and the future of Kundi will be bright." With the spirit's blessing, Quaim turned back toward the kingdom, knowing that the Black Jaguar would always be there, guarding Kundi for generations to come. Years passed, and Quaim's leadership became legendary throughout Kundi. His people flourished, and the kingdom became a beacon of hope and prosperity for all who sought refuge in its borders. The Black Jaguar's spirit, ever present, continued to protect the land, ensuring that no evil would ever threaten their peace again. The kingdom had not only survived, but had thrived, built upon the wisdom, strength, and sacrifices of those who came before them. As the sun set one evening, casting a golden glow over the royal palace, Quaim stood before the sacred altar, the Black Jaguar totem glowing in his hands. His thoughts were filled with the lessons he had learned throughout his journey, lessons of unity, sacrifice, and the power of the land and its spirit. The Black Jaguar spirit appeared beside him, its massive form shimmering with the power of the ancestors. "Quaim," the spirit spoke, its voice full of pride, "you have proven yourself to be a true leader of Kundi. But now it is time for the next chapter. Your reign has been one of strength and wisdom, but the future belongs to those who follow. Quaim nodded, understanding the weight of the words. He had led the kingdom through its darkest times, but now it was time to pass on the knowledge and wisdom he had gained. Quaim turned to Princess Amara, who had stood by him through every trial. She had grown into a fierce and wise leader in her own right, and Quaim knew that Kundi would be in good hands when the time came for him to step down. "Amara," he said, his voice filled with both pride and humility, "it is time for you to lead." Amara looked at him, her eyes filled with a deep understanding. "I have learned from the best, Quaim. I will protect our people, just as you did." The two siblings shared a quiet moment, knowing that the legacy of the Black Jaguar would live on in their leadership. The people of Kundi gathered in the royal courtyard as Quaim and Amara stood before them. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," Quaim declared, his voice strong and unwavering. "Kundi is stronger than ever, and the spirit of the Black Jaguar will continue to guide us. I have led this kingdom with the help of the Black Jaguar, but now it is time for Amara to lead with that same strength and wisdom." The people cheered, their spirits lifted by the hope of a bright future under Amara's reign. As the years passed, Amara proved to be an even stronger leader than Quaim. Her leadership was marked by compassion, wisdom, and strength, and Kundi flourished under her rule. The Black Jaguar's spirit continued to watch over the kingdom, its power never waning. Quaim, now a wise elder, often visited the sacred altar to offer his thanks to the Black Jaguar and to reflect on the journey that had brought Kundi to this moment. One evening, as he stood in the royal garden, his thoughts were interrupted by the presence of the Black Jaguar spirit. "You have done well, Quaim," the spirit said, its voice full of approval. "Your kingdom is in good hands. You have passed on the strength of the Black Jaguar to those who will continue your legacy." Quaim smiled, feeling a sense of peace settle over him. "I am proud of what we have built," he said softly. "Kundi will never fall. The Black Jaguar's spirit will always guide us." The spirit roared in approval, its energy filling the air with an overwhelming sense of power and unity. "Your work is done, Quaim," the spirit said. "Your people are safe, and the kingdom will thrive for generations to come." On the eve of Quaim's passing, the people of Kundi gathered to honor their king and the Black Jaguar spirit that had protected them all these years. Quaim stood before them, surrounded by his family and friends, his heart full of gratitude and love for the people he had sworn to protect. "My people," Quaim said, his voice filled with warmth, "it has been my honor to lead you. The Black Jaguar's spirit will never leave us. We are bound together, now and forever. Remember, the true strength of Kundi lies in each of you." As Quaim spoke, the Black Jaguar's spirit appeared one last time, its form glowing with the light of the ancestors. "You are the protector now, Amara," the spirit said, its voice gentle but powerful. "Lead with courage, wisdom, and love, and the kingdom will never fall." With those final words, Quaim passed on peacefully, knowing that his kingdom was in good hands. Amara, now fully empowered as the queen, took her place at the head of the kingdom, ready to continue the legacy of her brother and the Black Jaguar spirit.